A new hybrid smartwatch from Fossil. That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Fossil is Vice President of Product in the Connected Devices Group, Brook Eaton. Hi, Brook.
Hello, how are you doing this morning?
Terrific. Well, you've got a new product to show us. Give us the overview of the new Gen 6 hybrid smartwatch.
Sure, it's a great watch. I'm wearing it. I've been wearing it a lot. It's some of the key features that people will really love about this watch is, of course, tremendous battery life, but it still has all those essential smartwatch features. So just like every smartwatch we've been used to these days, it's got great health tracking, obviously notifications. This particular watch has an e-ink screen, but that doesn't stop you from being able to customize it with all kinds of different watch faces. I even have one that has a photo. I just got a notification, but I even have one that has a photo on it of me with my girls. And so it's a really great watch in terms of that essential smartwatch feature set, great health tracking, notifications, and multi-week battery life, of course, which you don't see at a lot of places. And of course, with some of the updates that we had over our previous generation, we added SpO2 tracking and upgraded heart rate sensor that has a little bit better fidelity and features, and of course Alexa, which really brings it into a smartwatch that is kind of bringing in some of those new technologies that consumers are looking for these days.
Describe for us how that works. You do need to be, I guess, in Bluetooth range of your phone for that to
Correct.
happen.
You're in Bluetooth range and it can listen, and then it will give you a response directly on the watch on the e-ink screen. Now, there is no speaker, and so you will see the response from Alexa displayed in text on the screen.
Very cool. Now, the heart rate and the oxygen sensor, tell us a little bit more about that and the value of those things.
Sure. I mean, so obviously this whole space of activity tracking started off with just simple accelerometers to count your steps. And of course, things have evolved quite a lot since those early days. Now, heart rate is becoming one of the dominant ways to track overall health and wellness. And within heart rate and the heart rate sensors where you're flashing LEDs at the light and looking at the reflection, of course, different LEDs and different sensors can capture different elements. And one of those newer elements that we're seeing watches capture is SpO2. SpO2 is a really interesting one, and things like COVID have only highlighted the importance of that over the past few years. So of course, early on, SpO2 was very much kind of more a feature for athletes trying to improve fitness and seeing how well their lungs and respiratory systems were keeping up and getting oxygen to their blood, especially in a hard part of their workout. But now we're seeing use cases of SpO2 where we can detect if someone has sleep apnea while they're sleeping, or if you have COVID and you've developed pneumonia, how bad is that pneumonia? Like, should you be worried enough that you should get in to the hospital? And of course, a lot of doctors during COVID were saying, well, monitor your SpO2, and if it drops low enough, then you should start to head in. So that's a key element of it as well. But then there's many other long issues like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, or asthma that can lead to low SpO2 levels. So being able to track that's been really key for a lot of consumers these days.
Now, you have a couple of different designs on this on the Gen 6. Tell me about them.
Correct. So I'm wearing more of the men's design, a little bit larger. That will come in a couple of different colors and styles. In fact, I'll take it off to give it a little bit better view, but I think we'll have some product shots that will come in later. Of course, I have a watch face with my family photo on it. Again, the design of these are beautifully designed stainless steel cases. They're tested for 3 ATM. We actually did also pass our paddle test for swimming that we use also on our Wear OS watches. So this watch can be used for swimming. Obviously not diving deep, but those go through a 10,000 paddle test simulating swimming. And so, great watch, great case, stainless steel premium designs. The women's designs are, of course, a little bit smaller. And you're talking about probably a couple things you're sacrificing there. Slightly smaller e-ink screen, slightly smaller battery. And so you're probably more in the 10-day battery life range, 10-day to 2-week versus maybe almost stretching to 3 weeks on the men's version. But again, beautifully designed across the board.
Sure. You also have an updated companion app. Tell me about that.
Correct. And so one of the things that we wanted to do with our companion app was surface a couple different features on the app that we're seeing consumers having a lot of interest in. And so it used to be that when you open the app, you went directly to the health and wellness stats, which of course are very important. So I'm trying to work on a little bit the lighting here, but health and wellness stats, very important. But what we were hearing from user feedback was that people wanted just a quick summary of the health and wellness stats, but also wanted quick, easy access to other features. So now you can quickly access customizing your watch face, which we're seeing more and more people wanting to do. And of course, there's selections of watch faces that you can pick from, and you can fully customize, adding complications, and doing a lot of different variations on those. And then another section we added was, it's kind of a section that we like to think of as tips and tricks and things you might like to know about. And so you might find, new tips on how to, like, for example, how do you configure notifications on the watch? If I don't want every notification from my phone on my watch, there's a tip there that lets you go into how you would customize that. And we'll be adding more tips and tricks for features that we think are interesting for consumers to learn about if they haven't yet started using them.
So how does this fit in with your overall lineup of smartwatches? And are there certain phones that this will work with?
Sure. So, I mean, obviously, Android smartphones and Apple smartphones, so iOS. And so we work with both the major platforms in that sense. And then this app currently is working for what we call our hybrid watches, as well as these Gen 6 hybrids with this e-ink. By this fall, that app will also work with watches from our Wear OS side that are upgrading or coming out on Wear 3. And so basically Wear 3 watches and newer from Fossil will start to work with that same app. And so from a Fossil perspective and a Fossil consumer, you'll have one app you have to get, and it'll work with any Fossil watch you buy once we get those Wear 3 watches out this fall.
Terrific. Now, when people, it's a crowded space. I don't need to tell you that, lots of competition there. If people were to ask you, okay, why should I buy this Gen 6 from Fossil? What are the key differentiators here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple other companies in the space that have shied away from more of the big ecosystem watches. Like, we sell those too. Our Wear OS watches are the big ecosystem watches. When you want any app, any service that you're using with that there's obviously a big market for those watches. But there's this big segment of consumers as well that don't want every app on their watch. They just want that essential feature set. And we're seeing a few companies play in that space a little bit. And what we feel like we've done with our watches, of course, amazing design, like one of the best designs at the best price points you can get in terms of the look and feel of the watch. It really has the feel of a high quality watch, and you get a lot of compliments wearing it around, just that, wow, it's amazing that that's a smartwatch and it's so well designed. So I'd say overall style and design is a huge selling point. Hitting just the essential key features that people really want to use and really need, I think, is another key point. And I think this addition of Alexa on the watch is really nice for users, especially if you're not sure if you really want to get into a smartwatch. It has the essential feature set, and then if something's kind of missing, often you can get to it through an assistant. So I think that's pretty powerful for a lot of people to try out. Of course, it's not always listening. You have to press a button to engage it, but that Alexa feature really opens up the door for a lot of opportunities. And so I think, again, it's the fact that with these types of watches, you can charge it once and then go for 3 weeks without having to worry about it. You can travel, not have to worry about bringing chargers, things like that. And so it's really that kind of peace of mind you get from just wearing a watch, knowing it's going to work. You're not having to always flip out your phone to look at your notifications. You can see discreetly, what's going on. Oh, this one I actually need to take care of, so I'm going to go deal with that. Otherwise, most 9 times out of 10, you don't want to actually immediately do something and respond to some email notification or something like that. So again, these are some great features the watch has, and just that design, that big e-ink screen that we have on there to be able to customize with the watch face and see all that content that's coming in, whether it be through notifications or your health and wellness tracking, I think are key.
And it's going to notify you as well if there's an incoming phone call?
Correct.
Terrific. So where can people go for more information about this and your whole lineup?
Sure, of course. So go to our Fossil website. So fossil.com, and you'll be able to see this line of watches as well as other watches in the smartwatch space, as well as our great looking traditional watches as well.
Well, congratulations on the innovations there. Brook Eaton, thanks for taking the time with us.
All right. Thank you.